Trying to find a better way about our vinyl strips that are in the elevators, in the bottom of the elevators. I went to order some the other day, and it came up to an amount that they're about $5.20 a piece before shipping. So I'm trying to think of a way to, get something out of nothing and save our facility some money. So I came with a plan, something that we have a surplus of. It only works out if your center does this, but we purchase, through our restaurant, we purchase pickles in basically 5-gallon buckets. So I'm going to take this 5-gallon bucket and we're going to trim it down, and we're going to turn it into our vinyl strips for the elevators. I guess this only works for you guys if you get pickles delivered in a 5-gallon bucket or something else similar, and we just end up throwing those away, or we use them around our facility for other things, and this is one I'm going to try and use it for. I have tried cutting these buckets with a skill saw. Seemed like it's a lot more dangerous, so I'm trying a different route. I've got a basically would be equivalent of a rotozip, but it's an air die grinder, and I'm going to cut the base off the bucket, and then we're going to make some more strips out of it. As I said earlier, I didn't really, I thought the skill saw added a lot of more of a safety issue in cutting this, but the rotozip tools you saw took forever, it seems like, for me to cut it. So I'm going to show you that the other way that I cut it with the skill saw, and seem to get a lot more quicker, faster results out of it. So I basically cut the bottom off the bucket, as you can see. So now I'm just set up, and I got a height here basically established by a piece of plywood and setting my saw up, and I'm going to run it and cut through all this into rings. So now I've made 4 bucket rings, which each ring will create a 2 vinyl strips for an elevator. So basically it probably saved about $40 right there on some parts, and we'll cut those down next and turn those into the slide bands. Alright, so we got the rings off the bucket right here, and I've got my original slide band, and I'm just going to use a set of tin snips. Just take any band, start with it. We're just going to go ahead and find you a reference point to cut across. Then match the length of your other slide band. So it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to do the trick. And then you'll go ahead and cut it off, square across. And it already actually has a natural curve that's going to go in the base of the elevator, so don't install it upside down. I'd recommend against that. Go with the curve of the elevator. Same with your next strip. Just line it up, flatten it out, find your spot here you need to cut it at, cut across. Right there's 2 slide bands for an elevator. Throw your scrap away, and remember you'll have to keep one of these as a pattern because you'll want to lay it out properly when you drill it for the rivets that go into it. I'm going to go ahead and set it up for that. Lay this out here. I'll press it out as flat as I can. Mark each side. And I've got a drill set up with an 1/8 inch drill bit because that is the size of the rivets we use, and we're just going to run it right through this hole and clean it out. Don't worry about making these. Some of these other original strips have like a small recessed head for the pop rivet. I'm not so worried about that. Whenever I installed it, I noticed that the shovels kick up before it comes near the head, so they're not going to be rubbing against it. Same with on the back side of the elevator. They don't even touch that section with the shovels themselves. So you shouldn't have to worry about it interfering with the rivets too much. As well as these strips, you can see they have a shorter distance here and a longer distance at the bottom. The space between those holes is different. When you do install it in your elevator, you're going to notice one side of this kind of kicking up a little bit more at the back side of your elevator, the side farthest from the bowlers. Don't worry about that part that kicks up and comes off, like your metal plates like this in the back of the elevator, and that piece is going to kick up just a little. Don't worry about it. These shovels go right. They don't even interfere with it. They're not going to hit that part that's sticking up. Or if it causes you an issue, maybe just nick off that 1/2 inch that's kicking out, because that's about how it's going to set in the elevator with that. But the shovels come right past it. They'll hit here, and then they'll make the turn. And then we'll go ahead and drill out the other side. You will notice it's not perfect because the bucket itself kind of tapers as it comes up or as it goes down to the base of the bucket. So these aren't going to be perfect strips, but they are free. You can try it out, see if it works. We just started implementing it in our facility. We'll see how well it works and how long it lasts. But it should do about the same, should perform the same task as the original vinyl slide bands. One more quick tip I thought I'd let you know, in case if you were worried about basically all the burrs on the side of the strips, just for keeping your house clean or whatever. I found a way that if you take a really small planer, almost like a micro planer, you can take it right down, set it on the lightest setting you can, nick that little end off, and then you can trim down the whole piece in one swipe. Takes off one whole edge, smooths it out. Got a little kick right here. Try to come in this way. Try and get it where you can see everything happening. Just smooth all your edges out, if it matters to you, and it'll just take off one light layer. Set it as shallow as you can, just to shave off that edge. Good clean strip.